Muito bem, pessoal, sejam bem-vindos ao último dia do Descomplicando Azure. E hoje, com uma presença especial, recebendo um colega MVP lá da Rússia. Ele que é um MVP, está lá em Moscou, né, um colega muito bacana. A gente sempre troca ideias sobre tecnologias lá no Summit, na Microsoft em Redmond. E com certeza vai ser muito legal trazer ele para compartilhar um pouco de conhecimento com vocês, tá? Lembrando que essa série está sendo gravada, depois os links ficarão disponíveis, né? E uma novidade, né, pessoal? Para quem estava pedindo, saiu a maratona de certificações, então depois dá para entrar lá no site do Azure Academy e checar um pouquinho de como participa, de como está a estrutura dessa aceleração, tá bom? Lembrando também que teremos hoje mais tarde um sorteio, então a gente vai fazer um sorteio de alguns kits da Cumulus, tá bom? Então fiquem presentes por aí. E a programação do dia. Então teremos agora nosso colega Alexander, depois o Igor e fechando a noite lá de Portugal o André Melancia, tá bom? Deixo também os links, então, para quem quiser seguir as mídias sociais do Azure Academy e do Azure Brasil. Bom, acho que está tudo certo, vamos ver como está o nosso convidado. Um momento, deixa eu acessar aqui a nossa ferramenta. Ok, Alexander.
Hi.
You're welcome here. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for coming tonight. And introduce yourself to meet Brazilian attendees.
So, good day, everyone. My name is Alexander Kuishov. It is a pleasure to be here and all of the audience today. And thanks for coming here. I have pretty interesting content for you today, but let me introduce myself. I'm Microsoft Mobile professional in Windows development, mixed reality side, and also game development. So, and I work in game dev, like a production manager and business development manager in company Book Entertainment, and also like technical geek. And so yeah, let's start and see what's the content I prepared for you.
Okay, thank you. And we can start your presentation right now, okay, if you want. Let me share your screen. Let me check. That's okay. So it's your time. Go ahead. Thank you again, Alexander. And good presentation to you.
Thanks. And let's start with this one. So what's the beginning? To understand the VR itself, let's start with the beginning and where it was. So the first steps, tentative steps towards virtual reality was made in 1838 year till the 1935 year. Of course, in this period, such terms as virtual reality or augmented reality haven't yet appeared, but people already understood that they could trick mind, play with it, and so on. In 1935 year, Stanley Winbao describes virtual reality glasses in the book Pygmalion Glasses as this. What kind of devil helped you to do this? Which one? My liquid positive. Then, my magic glasses. I made a complicated solution to, do you understand? I add the taste of chemical and sound electric. And when the plot is recorded, I put my solution in my cinema projector glasses. And in this solution, there is a plot, a spectacle, taste, smell, sound, everything. A touch. And if you have, if are sufficiently captured by the plot, your brain adds it. The impatience sounded in his voice. So yeah, and let's start with the very, very first one. I think is 1962 year, Sensorama. Sensorama is a device of Morton Hailing. He created it back in this year along with 5 films that involved all the human senses: smell, vision, touch and breathe. Sensorama was very first device that was multimodal and multisensory, but it was mechanical device. And in general, they were the very world first VR simulator. The devices created there, Sensorama was cumbersome device and looks like gaming machines of 80s year. So you see, this is pretty huge thing, and allows the viewer to experience the immersion in virtual reality. So, for example, I ride motorcycles through the streets of Brooklyn. The effect percent achieved by affecting all my senses in the same time. The screen showed the first person recording. The seat vibrated. The speaker transmitted the sound of busy street, and corresponding smells entered in the camera. Let's watch the interview with Morten Helling itself.
Okay, yeah, just.
So yeah, another one device is Sword of Damocles, is a very not a virtual reality gaming, but our first augmented reality helmet. It was founded in 1968 year, and Sword of Damocles could project simple 3D through 3D graphics, and more importantly, it was real 3D, not the imitation, but 2D surfaces and all this stuff. And it was really heavy, and like a sword from there, it was on upper side of the floor and connected to you through the head. So yes, another one, it's a super cockpit that was developed by Thomas Furness, and he was based in Russia in Air Force Base. The project took several decades to develop, and was called Super Cockpit. It used it for a I-plane US Force trainings of real simulation of how you use the airplane on that one, and really was successful during the Gulf War. That's how it looks like on that one. And also, in parallel, NASA try to take their steps in VR, and they used it in 85 year. They produced their View, so virtual interface environment workstation system. It's a very new system with stereoscopic image in it, and optics were provided by Leak Optics. There was like 2.7 displays and view angle of 120 degrees on that one. And it has globals and also speech recognition system in it already. Another one is, so in that time, many companies started to do helmets on that one, and one of them is VPL. They did not only the helmet, but also the gloves and the full VR costume, and tried to catch it in this industry, and they did the full costume on it one. But virtual reality of 90s was like a bubble that burst, and internet already was developed, and so it was considered, and internet was considered like the future technology. So virtual reality was limited, expensive, and not so good on that one. So it goes lower, and internet grows. There was 2 other devices that were used to play some games on that one. Is Victormax Stuntmaster and VFX1 headgear. The great thing is that these 2 devices already had some view of the devices that we have for now. So the industry for now, what we have in it. So they're divided into 2 devices, like mobile devices and Google Cardboard, and also second one is high-end devices. So Oculus Rift, HTC Vive Pro, and Valve Index in it, Pimax 4K and 8K, more the high-end devices. So Oculus Rift more for the suitable experience, HTC Vive and Vive Pro is a room scale experience, and Valve Index room scale experience, and Pimax as well, room scale experience. And on the other hand, we have another devices like Windows Mixed Reality family devices. So these devices is different from that one that showed previously, because they don't have tagging cameras that you have for the room scale or any cameras. They have cameras that included in it. So there are 2 types of these devices. One type with the mixed reality device, and another one. So I can show you. So it is HoloLens 2 device, and it is like separate from Nextality family devices, HoloLens 1 and HoloLens 2. In case you don't know, this is a device that fully immerses you in like a mixed reality. So if it's not virtual reality device, so it is more like augmented reality. So you take this helmet on you, and you can view interactions, objects, and everything. It augments on your reality in that you are for now. So, for example, if you put like one object, like for example, Starbucks glass on the table, and put like 3D virtual object in HoloLens, totally the same object nearby, you will not mention the difference of it. And you can interact with this 3D object with your hands and gestures and all this stuff. And the second one, and the second is the second generation of HoloLens devices that have better processors, 2K on each glass, and more FOV, and also native sense of your hands. So it's see all your hand, and you could use every joint on your hand to proceed with the 3D objects on that one.
Work today is more complicated than ever. The old ways of training cannot get new employees up to speed as fast as the experienced people are retiring. We need a better way forward. Introducing Dynamics 365 guides. Simple step-by-step instructions are easily written on a PC, and then holographic parts and icons are simply picked up and placed on the machine where the work is happening. From day one, employees are often expected to get work done, but the complexity can be overwhelming. Now, employees can learn by doing. This is a tool that works with existing processes, allowing a manager to get the right guides to their people. The instructions move with the employees, pointing them to the tools and parts they need, showing them exactly where they need to apply them. Employees get up to speed faster, with fewer errors and more confidence. A simple glance moves them through the instructions, meaning their hands are free to do the work. They can learn at their own pace without having to rely on other workers around them. The overall experience is comfortable and intuitive. For the first time, a manager can see detailed information about how the employees are working and how their skills are growing. This makes continuous improvement faster than ever before. All of this helps employees make the complex simple, so they can learn and adapt faster, and organizations can stay competitive.
This was just an example of how it could be usable in our times. So let's get started. For now, you can on each channel or other things, you can really learn how to develop programmatically for VR and all this stuff. But usually there is a big problem on UX and UI stuff for VR things, and that what I could want to cover for now. So let's start with the tips and tricks. So some mechanics and elements that influence on user experience. This could help you, and what we can learn from it. First of all, let it be shorter but better quality. So for now, VR is still coming to gamers' life to every every people's life, and it's still new, and many people are not prepared for a long experience in it. Moreover, they could have problems with it, and the best solution, to use small sessions, small play sessions on it. For example, you have one level that takes about 5 or 10 minutes, for example, or you have a levels that with like waves of enemies, and each wave take like 3-5 minutes. Your user needs some stop point to rest. Let it be shorter but better quality. 3 minutes for mobile VR and 3 to 10 minutes for mobile VR and 3 to 30 minutes for high-end VR, and it will be okay for user. Another one thing, the big problem is the movement. The movement problem appears in every VR project. For us, like developers, it can be, for example, a problem, or could be no problem. For example, we could do no movement, so no problem on it one. For example, if you in game you're standing or sitting in one place, can look around, move closer, but in limits of the zone. Or quadrilateral, you can easily combine it with using teleport if you need in your gameplay or application. But when you need movement, then the problems are in place. And let's see the another one thing. So this is an Eagle Flight VR game from Ubisoft. You play from the Eagle view, even with a beak, and flying through the city. In Eagle VR, there is 2 scenarios of action we need to address that can cause cyber sickness. Evasion that occurs during the illusion of self-rotation of the virtual body with head tilting, and the action created by proximity, flying in high velocity and close to objects and to the walls. All this causes people to turn green, really. And I guess you just saw some effects that was used in That's Why. Remember it, please. So we all know that the center of our vision, the fovea, is very sensitive to detail, whereas the peripheral is less so. However, our peripheral vision is really sensitive to motion, really sensitive. So all this is really sensitive to motion. And the research also shows that it's very sensitive to action, and that action in the peripheral is the most important thing. And as I said, I think you remember that effects of parabolic when you are close to the walls, or for example, some effects that going like of wind or something like that one. The solution of that one was found, the parabolic tunnel vision. Alpha blended full screen effect for parabolas, top, bottom, right, left, and vection basic cultivate. So cover vection ephemeral dynamically, add noise to optic flow, fade to black a pixel if its screen space position is on negative side of the parabola function. The closer is the pixel to parabola, lesser will be faded. So that's how it and that's how it works. You saw it in the previous video, that one. And also 4 detectors, top, bottom, left, right, to detect walls, object ground, and so on. Each is the mesh collider that intersects with the environment colliders. When a collider is hit, activate associated parabola by the formula. And on previous slide, you saw that it works really fine, and you know that you can stand the seat and you will not have any sickness on that one. Another one thing, in VR, FPS needs to be stable and should optimize in your game drastically. So the best experience is 60 FPS for mobile VR and 90 FPS for high-end VR. It would be better if you leave not the best graphic, but stable performance. So the balance on this one. Our brain takes all information from different sensors, our eyes, hands, nose, and etc. To produce the single image in our brain. And if something goes wrong, it's a simple confuse for our brain. In game optimization, you need to think what parts of your game could improve by less loss in graphics and gameplay experience. For example, particles. For creation of nice effects, it often uses particle emitters. By using a different algorithm, it emits sprites, and we all know that it could be used many of sprites. All move, intersect each other, and make effects, swelling, smoke, or raging fire. So anything. And particles with transparency influence on your VR game application performance very much. Usually it brings many experiments with special effects, but the solution was found to use non-transparent 3D models instead of sprites. For example, for explosion, use spikes. For cloud, use spheres. And another one, if you couldn't feel transparency, use dithering. A typical use of this is converting grayscale to black and white, such as the density of black dots in the new image approximates the average gray level in original image. It's a great thing. We receive stylish image and effective, of course, on that one. UI in VR is another pain for developers. There are various types of solutions, but we found that UI on the virtual objects works perfectly. For example, health bar on the floor in the front of it, armor menu in the room, like a continue, or select a location, 3D boards, location selection, weapon selection, or for example, you have like a menu with options control, like some electric things on that one. It's a good practice to use AI and game objects together. Another one use case, put your player in the cabin or special suit, and you could put UI wherever you want in this cabin. Also, it solves many movement problem as well, because it is some hack for our brain. We don't have a reaction, we don't have a noise by this one, and also it's pretty like understandable experience for user to be in the robot and use all interface that behind him. catch user attention. And helping to see all prepared content during the gameplay process. For example, you can use the different ways of it. Visual arrows that show where is the action happens, like audio, for example, your enemies in the game, or like some robot in your app is calling like, "Hey, I'm here," and one word or several words, audio words to call the player, and the player will just, "Oh, here, oh, here." So yeah, so use audio as well. And also action of enemies. Use different animations to catch user attention, because the primary action is just like 90 degrees, and one has and other one is just secondary guided actions. But then we have tertiary action is on the back one that we cannot catch without any actions from your upside. Feedback and user actions. Provide any feedback on what your user or player doing in your application or game. For example, he show an effect that the bullet is going somewhere, and show that it flies to the enemy. You know that for newbie, it's not so easy to interact in VR, to shoot in VR, or to take something in VR. It takes some time to learn how to do it. And so help the player to know your game, help the player to know your app. And don't try to reach photorealism. Look at the picture. Here's a human-like robot. And looks, very beautiful. But if you see something strange, something a bit strange, and the same could happen with your game or with your app, because in VR we believe that all it happens in the reality. And if model close to photorealistic, player will have a huge expectations about detalization and will compare it with our reality, behavior, moving hand, blinking eyes, and so on. This effect is called uncanny valley. When you can't reach photorealism, you just lose your immersion effect. So the bad thing is that our brain is starting to compare it with real world, virtual world with real world, and you lose this effect. You lose the immersion effect. So Katon style is okay. It's important to solve problems, but using Katon style. Our brain adapts very easy to such atmosphere. The most important thing is to have all rules permanent. So you have Katon style, do all models in Katon style, and it works not only for a style. For example, in one game, you can take items from the table by your hand, but not at all times. And our brain understand it's wrong. It's not reality. It's simulation. So you have like a glass in the table. You can take it. You have a computer mouse on the table, and you can't take it. And this is losing the immersion effect. All the rules must be the same for the same combinations of this object. Next question is how to prove deliver. In some games applications, there is a prediction system. For example, like in Division, the flight path and effect area are displayed, and the solution is not suitable for like games or applications with very high dynamics. In VR, you need to truly show the behavior of objects. For example, most of like shooters system flies through the game physics and some decent crossing line of the aiming. Over the time, the player remembers the distance and can really predict how the trajectory will work. The presence of VR controllers gives us many possibilities to use newly delivery method. We take velocity of the controller movement at the time of releasing the trigger and give velocity to the throwing object. And some players have to get used to this, such as natural throwing method. and it is really more naturally for the player to use such thing. And you have a controller in your hand, and you could just put an object, any object in your hand, and you have like a weight on this one, and use some motor skills and put the good game logic in it, and just do it to just give it a balance between more reality of throwing or more like or more not real physics for throwing the object. The physics, the VR needs to have direction and proper showing of physics. If the barrel let explode, if the exposure let it takeable, use all possibilities of all physics that you have one, because the great thing is put many interaction things in VR. And let's talk about a little about UX in VR. About perception interaction with the player. Should, for example, the weapon be dangerous to the player, or for example, about explosions, so like multiplayer game, the different mechanics try to influence on player behavior, on player gameplay, and we need to solve this problem. We need to take the great mechanics that will show your application or your game in the best side for the player. I remember the story about ability of DVA character from the game Overwatch of Blizzard Entertainment. When the DVA activates the button and DVA leaves her mech and launching a self-destruct timer on it. In 3 seconds, the mech explodes and causes a really huge damage on the area. Explosion of mech, you can see on the screen. And in the past, the explosion damaged enemies and DVA itself. So all your allies, you and enemies could just destruct in one time. And people really didn't like it. And there was many like posts on the forums about this problem. Later, developers decided it creates a really negative experience for the player, and but has no special effect on gameplay itself. So they solved this problem, and for now, if the mech destroys, it doesn't influence on you or your allies. And for example, the question is, for example, in shooting games, in which cases should grenade dynamite deal the damage to player? For example, player ignites the dynamite, but doesn't throw it, an explosion occurs in his hand, and player what happened on there? And you need to process with any useful decision. For example, player receives the damage only from the game enemies, dynamite, and objects. So different mechanics fights for the player attention, and you need to better balance these mechanics and don't upset the player, because when we play for not for to be angry, not to be upset, but to be funny and to receive a really good experience for it. Another one, I think, important thing that I would start some interesting solution in VR in medicine. It uses learning, healing, and to take many fine things on it.
Working in partnership with Oculus, BioFlight VR, and AISolve, we've designed these experiences to simulate training in low-frequency, high-acuity events. These are situations that don't happen often, but when they do, the stakes are high and lives are on the line. As we begin Module 1, the resident is placed at the foot of the bed. our emergency medicine technician provides a debrief and current patient status. Our user is presented with a lifelike patient in need of immediate medical treatment. Team members include our ER nurse, respiratory therapist, and pharmacists. Interactive elements include the IV cart, airway cart, and selectable medications from the code cart. Navigation and selection protocols allow the user to make real-time decisions for patient treatment. The resident can also interact with the patient through hotspots on the body that allow for haptic pulse check, capillary refill, breath, pupil, and cardiac checks. VR training experiences like these provide our residents with an immersive and engaging way to learn new skills and become more confident and better prepared doctors. We believe this is the future of medical skills training and will have a major impact in medical education.
So we saw this interesting example of medicine in VR, and so it's one field of studying in VR the simulation of real situations for medics. And we now wondered, how does VR affect our brain? According to numerous studies, it is so colossal. This kind of hack of our brain perceptions and sensations. On the slide, you see the brain status before and after the VR session. Red marked areas is the stress. After the VR session, stress goes away, and it's already actively used in medicine. I have just one more example on that one.
Agora o furto de fogo. Mas ó, vamos lá. Bem rapidinho. Peraí, deixa eu pegar aqui.
Eu não quero! Porque eu já tenho 5 reais! Só você usar o eu tenho medo!
Oi! Você voltou! Você voltou! Nossa, eu não posso acreditar! Ó, primeiro o pólen de gelo. É bem rapidinho. Vem cá, peraí. Pronto. Agora o fruto de fogo. Mas ó, vamos lá. Bem rapidinho. Peraí, deixa eu pegar aqui. Vai, escudinho, vai, escudinho. Funciona, funciona, funciona. Obrigada, obrigada.
Caramba, filho, o que você acha disso? Legal.
É a primeira vez que eu vejo, em 15 anos da minha atuação profissional com vacinas, que a realidade virtual pode transferir a dor em entretenimento.
So this is a small VR game that used it for vaccination, and we all know that children need to a lot of vaccinations, and each of us, I think, in childhood was really frightened about all these vaccinations, and also children are afraid of them, and sometimes very much. In this game, you improve your armor by the force of fire, of cold, to protect everyone from the great evil, and while charity is given in particular element inside the game, they touch it and make the injection, and so like a power of ice, power of fire, and the child is not afraid and doesn't feel this at all, doesn't feel the injection of this one. His brain takes it all for granted. So this is one example how the VR is really tricks him out in our brain, and how it could be used for really good things in our life. Thank you very much for joining this session. I hope all was interesting, and here is in my Twitter on Facebook. Write me asking questions, and watch the next great sessions and enjoy this interesting day and event. Thank you.
Wow, a conceptual lecture on mixed reality. Thank you very much, Alexander, for your time, for your investment to participate here. And see you next again. Pessoal, muito obrigado pela participação. O material vai ficar gravado, a palestra vai ficar lá gravada para vocês assistirem novamente. E agora a gente vai correr lá para o site, tá bom? Para fazer a troca para a próxima palestra. Tudo bem? Então a gente clica lá no próximo link e a gente consegue ter o acesso a outra transmissão. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you. Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye.